Excuses! Excuses! How am I supposed to trust you when all you give me are excuses? When are you two gonna learn that your actions have consequences? Consequences that affect other people, like me. Don't you two understand? I'm about to lose my job. You may not care about keeping your jobs, but I care about keeping mine. Because if I lose my job, I have nothing.
This one scene genuinely changed how I perceived Benson. Benson was always that authority figure, especially as a kid. He was trying to stop Mordecai and Rigby from having a great time, which never allowed me to relate to him as a character. But a thing that you begin to realize when you're growing up is that Benson was always right. You could empathize with him and understand that he always had the right thing in mind for Mordecai and Rigby, but as a kid, you never really saw that. And if you did, you were a special case, because the majority of people, they didn't like Benson until they got older and began to understand him. And his entire arc throughout the entire show, going from this character that just seemed like a mean boss to him slowly but surely shedding and showing some of his hobbies, his interests, his goals, and becoming one of the most interesting characters throughout the entire series. And when you rewatch the show, especially as an adult, you could just appreciate him the entire time. And that's why today I'm going to be discussing the world's most misunderstood boss, Benson. Benson, especially in season 1, didn't really have anything going for him in terms of an actual personality. His entire character was just to be angry, be an authority figure, and Mordecai and Rigby genuinely felt like the majority of the time, especially in season 1, they were just trying to do everything they possibly could to just basically outdo this authority figure and get to do whatever they want. I mean, take the first episode, an example where they're using the power to just manipulate Benson into conning him out of $20.
Hey, Benson! 5, 6, 7, 8.
What are you doing?
Give us a raise, loser!
You know, you guys have been working harder. I think you deserve a raise. We can negotiate your new rates later in the week, but for now, how's $20 sound?
And then eventually have to go to the moon, fight a moon monster, and then at the end of it, Benson just gets angry, gets his money back, and is semi-painted as, you know, understanding. You understand why he wants his money back.
Hey, that's mine! Nope. You sent him to the moon, so the least you could do is give him your keyboard, right, Skips?
Right.
Aww. And let's have it. What? The $40 you two conned out of me with that stupid keyboard crap! I know you still got it. Now give it back.
But still, in the perspectives of Mordecai and Rigby, which is all we were really getting in season 1, he kind of looks like the bad guy in this situation. And then you go on to just set up the chairs, where again, he just seems like another authority figure that is just standing in the way of Mordecai and Rigby getting to do a fun job that isn't about setting up the chairs. They're even roasting him, saying that Benson is gonna drop his gumballs when he sees how good we set up these chairs.
Benson's gonna drop his balls when he sees how good we set up these chairs. He's gonna be all like, oh no, my gumballs.
Yeah.
It's just the entire time Benson never really feels like a friend at this point in the series. He genuinely just feels out here from Mordecai and Rigby. He feels different from the situation. And at the end of the episode, guess what he does again? He gets really angry at them because, I mean, very understandably, he gets angry that they just destroyed everything.
You idiots! That's the last time I entrust you with something important, like the chairs!
Oh! Not setting up the chairs next time! Not setting up the chairs next time!
But you are gonna clean up this mess, and you can start by sweeping up this special entertainment.
Yeah, no problem.
The special entertainment got killed. They released the Destroyer of Worlds. There's a giant flame pit, but hey, all the kids have fun. But Benson just gets angry again. That is all we're seeing from him in the very first season. And then Meet Your Maker even takes this point of pointing Benson to be the bad guy, or the guy that there is always a way out, the guy that you could pin the blame onto, and for kids to be like, yeah, Mordecai, yeah, Rigby. Because in Meet Your Maker, Rigby finds these horrendous hot dogs after, you know, becoming a boner.
Margaret.
He finds these hot dogs. Sorry, that threw my train of thought a little bit. I don't write this down. He finds these hot dogs, and they come to life, and they want to be eaten. And they turns out that they actually want to eat people. They come to life. They attack Benson.
Hey!
Hey, Benson, I got the hot dogs right here. I didn't grill them, just like you said.
Oh boy, this is gonna be the best barbecue ever! Now!
What the heck are those?
They put everybody into little bags to prepare them for being eaten, and eventually Rigby is able to solve this by getting them all to eat themselves.
Oh, this stuff's delicious.
A very cannibalistic scene, but really funny nonetheless, and this eventually leads to Benson and everybody questioning Rigby why this happened. Why did these hot dogs come to life? What are you talking about? And then Rigby puts it all onto Benson, shifting the entire blame.
Don't look at me. Benson's the one who went and bought the crazy super premium psycho hot dogs.
Oh, yeah, he's right.
I indeed remember now.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, this wouldn't have happened if you just bought regular hot dogs.
That's for sure.
That is true. No, but I don't know what happened.
Well, I guess the barbecue's ruined now thanks to Benson.
And Mordecai is all like, yeah, dude, that was great, that was awesome. And you're just supposed to not feel bad for Benson in this situation at all, even though Benson was just trying to be a cool dude and have a super awesome BBQ cookout for all of his friends. But all of the blame is put onto him, and the episode glorifies that, and Mordecai and Rigby celebrate the fact that they didn't get in trouble after just, you know, completely ignoring Benson's rules, because Benson genuinely just wanted them to take the hot dogs outside, and this led to them all getting kidnapped by evil, cannibalistic hot dogs. Yeah, it's just a really interesting scene, because when you take into consideration that Benson was just trying to be a good guy and the episode still paints him as the villain here, it's just kind of odd. And then for the rest of season 1, he's just, again, pretty much something to be angry about. Prank callers, his best moment is literally just ripping a phone off of a wall and just start smashing things in a really funny scene.
What do you guys think of my prank? Ring, ring. Hello, what's that? Mordecai and Rigby are banned from using the house phone? Okay.
Dawn, he's just there trying to fix the audit, and one of his best moments is just screaming to go give him some sugar.
Wait! What happened?
Rigby blew it. He wouldn't give Dawn sugar.
What? Go give him some sugar!
It's just moments like that that don't really give Benson a character other than the fact that he's an angry guy. And then in the season finale, Mordecai and the Rigbys, there is also really nothing about them other than the fact that Benson doesn't believe that they could do anything. There's no way that they could ever play a guitar. There's just no way. And then the entire episode has this like side mini plot of just proving Benson wrong, where he gives that holy crap, one of the most shocking moments, especially if you were like, I don't know, 10 watching this. Did he just say that? Did he just say holy crap?
Holy crap!
Benson, again, doesn't really have any personality. He was just this authority figure to either prove wrong, shift the blame to, or just to be angry. That's all his character really was in the first season. Now, don't get me wrong, throughout the entire series, Benson can still be an antagonist in many episodes because he works so well in that role to just be this, like, opposite of Mordecai and Rigby, trying to stop them and making the episode overall better. But something that they started to do in season 2 was to take this character that was so angry all the time and start just showing cracks in his shell that actually give him developments beyond being an angry boss. And that's what I love so much about it. They don't just tell you that he's a cool person, they slowly but surely begin to show you that, instead of just having one episode where it's all like, oh, Benson used to do this, Benson used to do that. They spread it out over a multitude of episodes to showcase different parts of his life, different hobbies he might have, slowly breaking into that personality that we didn't really get to see at all in season 1. And this begins in season 2 with the episode Benson Be Gone, where we don't really get to see any of his hobbies here, but what we do get to see is a different version of Benson. When Benson is replaced by Susan because Mordecai and Rigby are just, you know, causing havoc, and Maylard just says that Bean Teen can't take care of this park.
This is getting a little awkward, so we're gonna take off.
Wait! That's it. Emergency meeting tomorrow. Things are going to change around here.
And so he hires Susan, and that demotes Benson, and Benson, just being so angry, he doesn't feel like raking now, okay?
This is so typical. You get bored, so you just slack off instead of finishing your work.
It's not slacking. We're just taking a break. And besides, it's not like you're working that hard anyway.
Yeah, you're raking like an old man that has a fatter old man holding his arms down.
I don't feel like raking now, okay?
He's just really angry and upset, and Mordecai and Rigby start showing them a little bit of their life, leading to Benson becoming a slacker with them, having a great time. this is a side of Benson that we had never seen so far in the show, because the episode before this, before we got to this, was the episode Peeps, where Benson was just at his most antagonistic, where he was literally putting cameras everywhere, cameras on Mordecai and Rigby, cameras all the way around the park.
Rigby!
Oof! Ow! What the?
Crap.
Freaking out, slamming a book on the table, and calling Jeepers Peepers X Infinity, and releasing a giant eyeball onto the park.
Ah!
Peep surveillance systems.
Yeah! Upgrade me to Jeepers Peepers X Infinity, now!
I'm sorry, sir, but that requires a signature on our lifetime contract.
All right, whatever, just make it happen.
And in the end, he couldn't take it, and Mordecai had to stop it, but we didn't really ever get to see this side of Benson. That was the, most antagonistic Benson we'd ever seen, and then they just cut to this version, where we get to see Benson actually being a little bit of a slacker, chillin', having a good time, and eventually, so much so that Mordecai and Rigby start doing their jobs when Susan comes back around, and Benson quits his job because he's just enjoying this slacker wonderland.
'Cause I don't feel like it.
Get back to work, or I'll fire you.
Yeah? Do it!
Excuse me?
I've wasted my whole life in a dead-end job, and I'm not wasting another second working for you. So go ahead and fire me.
Okay, Benson. You're fired!
And after meeting Utopia, a just known park slacker, Benson realizes that he needs his job back because he doesn't want to turn out like him, so he goes back and he saves the day, having to stop everybody else from being transformed into Susan, and eventually willing to sacrifice his life to get rid of Susan.
Leon!
I got this, brother. I've already had my season in the sun, but you still got a whole lifetime of slacking in front of you.
Actually, I changed my...
Time for me to blow this slacker wonderland! Utopia.
And thanks to Utopia's sacrifice, literally jumping into the limo, pushing Benson out, and sacrificing himself, Susan is defeated. But this was the first time that we got to see a slightly different version of Benson, and I can enjoy that. And then you go to the episode This Is My Jam, which really doesn't have a whole lot in terms of his personality change, but there is one thing at the end of this episode, after everybody is fighting the summertime loving in the summertime, after everybody's fighting that using aw snap, come to our macaroni party and we'll take a nap. There's just one thing missing, and that's when Benson is shown screaming, driving the cart, something on top, and it's revealed when he takes off the cover that Benson is a drummer, and just the hardest scene ever, where he just starts playing a beat, just being like, it's gotta have a beat.
Oh shoot, Benson!
Unbelievable!
Look, Benson, we didn't mean...
You guys forgot the most important thing about writing a catchy song. Whoa! It's gotta have a beat.
And it's just so cool to see things like this, because there wasn't a whole lot of attention drawn to it. It's just a really cool moment that just reveals that Benson is a drummer. That's just so cool. They didn't need to make an entire episode about it this early on in the season, but they just, are just slowly cooking Benson up to be really cool by adding in these little trickles of things that are slowly making him more of a person. And I really enjoy that aspect. I really enjoy that they don't have to shove it down your throat. You could just genuinely be like, whoa, that was cool. That was awesome. I did not expect that. That's something that's so great about it, not expecting all these things from Benson. And then if you want to keep not expecting things, you could go to the episode Stick Hockey, this episode that is all about Benson not understanding why Mordecai and Rigby would want to twiddle them sticks and play stick hockey, so much so that he gets rid of the table, and this leads to Mordecai and Rigby pushing him out of the cart, going to try and find it on their own.
Happened if you guys had done your job!
No, you can't get mad this time. You messed up, not us.
Ugh, just listen to me!
You know what, Benson? Forget it. Thanks for all your help, but we can get the stick hockey table without you.
And eventually they go to like this death satanic cult that just plays stick hockey and literally murders people. Yeah, it's very wild, and Mordecai and Rigby are just getting absolutely destroyed. And this is when Benson shows up and everybody is in shock because he used to be Death Dragon.
to chop up our heads.
Who's going to finish your game now?
I'll finish it.
Huh? Death Dragon.
What? That's such a reveal that Benson used to be a pro stick hockey player and he stopped because his apprentice, his little boy Dave died, got murdered in the game, so Benson swore off of it.
Oh, my neck!
Dave!
Master, I thought you said this was gonna be so much fun!
And he has to come back to save Mordecai and Rigby and make stick hockey look like one of the coolest games of all time. And yeah, I will say, by the way, stick hockey is a lot more fun than you would think. I played it like recently, and that might sound like a very obvious thing. Stick hockey is a lot of fun, so I completely understand this, but they made stick hockey so cool. It's a awesome stick hockey showdown. The visuals are awesome, everything Benson is doing is awesome, and he's able to defeat this guy, sending him into the abyss, and saving Mordecai and Rigby, and getting the stick hockey table back. And Mordecai and Rigby still don't seem to appreciate him very much, but we as an audience can slowly start to appreciate him more, and that's one of his best qualities, especially in the early seasons, going from nothing but rage and anger to slowly shedding and showing off some of his really cool hobbies, his really cool interests. I love that about the show. And then going into Weekend at Benson's, this was definitely an episode to show the more personal side of Benson, other than just hobbies, because at the beginning of the episode, Mordecai and Rigby are trying to put in a light bulb, they fail miserably, and Benson is just like, oh, I have stuff to do today, can you guys do anything right? And he goes up on the ladder, and Mordecai and Rigby are just saying, you don't got things to do, Benson, what are you gonna do, Benson? And they eventually knock the ladder over, knocking Benson out cold.
Hold the ladder!
And they go to take him home, doing a Weekend at Bernie's, and we get a lot of really funny scenes here where Muscle Man has to like talk to Benson and they drive away and he's chasing the car.
Hey! I wouldn't talk to Benson!
Whew, that was close.
Wait! I wouldn't talk!
It's just a really good episode overall, but then they eventually get back to Benson's apartment, and that's when they meet Audrey, and apparently Benson did have things to...
Okay, you're a busy guy and you work a lot. I understand. I was just really hoping you could come to my party. I see you walking down the hall all the time, but I never get to talk to you. I thought maybe we could have a chance to get to know each other better. Well, see ya.
He has a girl that he's really into that really wants Benson to come to her party, and because of Mordecai and Rigby, Benson can't do that. So Mordecai and Rigby have to help him go to this party, just keep on Weekend at Bernie's him, and just to make him look like the coolest guy ever, eventually having a showdown of heat and spice against the iron, the FE, where they're just shoving spice down Benson's gullet, and eventually he has to drink the Mississippi Queen. And as a side note, at 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to be cosplaying as Benson and drinking the Mississippi Queen, so if you're not subscribed, you might as well. And he eventually wakes up before he has to drink this, and he makes Mordecai and Rigby drink it as well, and it just makes Benson seem like the coolest guy ever.
Or they're fired. Bottoms up, fellas.
They go on an insane psychedelic trip, and it's just honestly so good. It's moments like these that are giving Benson some actual character, just again distancing him away from the person he was in season 1 and just adding layers of depth into his character, even the fact that he has a girl that he likes. And then we go on to one of the most pivotal episodes in Benson's change into a really good boss. I mean, he was always a good boss, but the episode Excellent is just one of the greatest showcases of this, where Mordecai and Rigby are avoiding their jobs, they go to do the Excellent challenge, and Rigby just goes into a coma because he's allergic to eggs, and he passes out.
You'll get me that hat.
What?
Please. Just promise you'll get the hat for me.
Okay, I promise.
You're a good friend.
Rigby? Rigby?
And that's when Benson at the hospital says just something honestly so horrible. To say that if you guys were working, this wouldn't have happened is one of the worst things you could say when Mordecai is sitting with his best friend in a coma, not knowing if he's ever going to wake up again. So Mordecai rightfully punches him in the face and tells Benson that he's just being a jerk.
Well, I hope you've learned something from all this.
What?
Maybe if you'd been working like you were supposed to, none of this would have happened. Mordecai, what are you doing?
What's your problem? This has nothing to do with work. He just wanted the hat.
And look where it got him. Your friend over there is only gonna get you into trouble.
Oh, right. Take advice from Benson about friends, since you've got so many of them.
He just wanted to win a hat. And just later on in the episode, Mordecai attempts the challenge, fails, and that's when Benson shows up at the hospital to apologize and to be a friend and help Mordecai to complete the challenge.
Look, I'm sorry for what I said earlier. It was a stupid thing to say, and I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
You know, there might be a way to win that hat.
What? What are you talking about?
Tell him, Skips.
This is why Excellent is so good. It's a great episode that is a mix of such a silly concept like Rigby going into a coma because he tried to eat an excellent challenge when he's allergic to eggs, and Mordecai having to figure out how to do the challenge. It's such a silly concept, but they blend this realism and character development into the episode that makes it all the more enjoyable. And when Benson stands up to the waiter staff and they fight for an hour at a time so that Mordecai can complete this challenge.
No, don't.
Let him finish.
Step aside.
Why don't you make us, bro?
Keep him away from Mordecai!
It's just all the more sweet when he's able to do it thanks to the help of Benson, and this is when Benson starts showcasing how good of a boss he can truly be. And there's one more episode that was truly at the time of showing that Benson can be something more in regular show, and that is the episode Busted Cart. This episode's sole purpose, I feel, was to just shed who Benson used to be and just even make the dumbest of the kid who's going home and just eating crayons, look at Benson in an entire new way. Because this episode is all about how Mordecai and Rigby destroy the cart, the warranty is about to expire, and it's up to Benson to drive there before the warranty expires, or else he is going to lose his job. Mordecai and Rigby tag along, and they actually seem to bond, becoming friends, and Benson puts a little bit of trust into them to drive the car while Benson goes to sleep. And Mordecai and Rigby, what do they do with that trust? They just smash it to pieces, and they go to the arcade for hours. And when Benson wakes up, he realizes what they have done, and that's when we get Benson's speech.
When are you two gonna learn that your actions have consequences? Consequences that affect other people, like me. Don't you two understand? I'm about to lose my job. You may not care about keeping your jobs, but I care about keeping mine. Because if I lose my job, I have nothing. Do you hear me? I have nothing.
His breakdown. One of the realest moments in the entire series, where Benson just says that they always give him excuses. They only give him excuses. They don't care about keeping their jobs, but he cares about keeping his. Because if he doesn't have his job, he has nothing. And I love this speech so much because I truly believe that it was Benson's awakening in the show. He became so much more after this, especially to me, because even as a kid when I was watching this episode, Benson was an entirely new person. He was a character with flaws. All of a sudden he was relatable. All of a sudden I could understand him, and I could understand what he was feeling, and I genuinely felt so bad for him. And for the end of the episode, for it to all work out, for them to team up to get there just in time to save the cart and Benson to save his job, it just makes it one of the best episodes in the entire series, and I genuinely think that this is Benson's greatest episode for how he changed here. So we've established that Benson is cool, that he is a person, that he has hobbies, that he has interests. So what's left to do with his character? Well, you could keep him in an antagonistic role in a lot of episodes, but something that I loved that they chose to do was just to keep on developing Benson, but also develop his friendships with the members of the park in very interesting ways. And one of the ways that they did this was to start having Mordecai, Rigby, and Benson episodes, just like Busted Cart, but in just brand new ways that are some of the best episodes in the series. Episodes like this that I really hope that we get more more of in the Lost Tapes because they're just honestly so good. And that all starts with the episode 150 Piece Kid, which I truly believe is one of Benson's coolest episodes. A episode where Benson has to prove to everybody that he did play that drum solo for Heir to the Throne, a band that is just making fun of him, making all of his friends not believe him, and leaving Benson alone.
Well, I'm gonna play it before the concert. I'm gonna show the world the truth.
Oi, what happened to your hair, Benson?
It's hereditary!
He even tries to force Mordecai and Rigby to help him, but they just can't. They won't, and they abandon Benson, and only when they see Heir to the Throne come and destroy Benson's drum equipment, they decide to help him.
Stop! You guys are supposed to be cool!
We are cool. That's why we destroyed that loser's drum kit.
No way! I don't care how good your first album was. You're just a bunch of jerks.
And this eventually leads to one of the coolest moments with Benson rising up from the ground to play this drum solo, giving his speech.
My name is Benson! Benson! And I can play this solo!
What the? Whoa. No! If anyone finds out that he can play this drum solo, we're ruined!
And when he starts just, drumming a little here, drumming a little there, drumming a little everywhere, it's honestly so awesome. And everybody comes to their senses, begins to help Benson, stopping Heir to the Throne, and Benson's skeleton even catches on fire with how hard he is going with this solo, and it just creates one of the most memorable, coolest episodes for Benson. I love the direction that they started to take his character because yes, we were just getting hints of how cool he could be, but this episode was the start of just saying, hey, look, Benson is awesome. He is more than just a boss. He is more than an angry personality. He is a really cool dude. And they just love to keep this formula going with Benson just tagging along with Mordecai and Rigby on certain journeys. Sandwich of Death, where Benson finds their sandwich and wanting to get a little bit of revenge on them, he takes a bite of it, but little did he know, it was the death sandwich.
Whoa, are you all right?
It really is a death sandwich.
Death sandwich? Why would you buy something that kills people?
Why would you eat somebody's sandwich?
And so Mordecai and Rigby and the Death Kwon Do sensei all have to travel to the Death Kwon Do dojo, and they have to fight their way up together, fighting through enemy after enemy after enemy.
Step of death!
Step of death!
Step of death!
Step of death!
All the way up to the Grand Master Sensei and defeat him in order to save Benson's life.
Our friend Benson is about to die from eating the death sandwich incorrectly. We humbly request that you bestow the sandwich of life upon him.
You must be a real fool.
And this may not be the best episode showcasing Benson, but either way, it's still an episode where it's just Benson, Mordecai, and Rigby going on an adventure together, which is something that you wouldn't typically see, but it just becomes all the more frequent with this formula of just pairing Mordecai, Rigby, and Benson up in episodes again like Blind Trust, a episode where Benson doesn't trust Mordecai and Rigby to do the simplest of tasks.
Hey, give me that. I can't trust you two with anything. You have to squeeze and release. Make sure the bag lands in the can.
So Pops brings them up on top of a mountain, and they have to learn to blind trust each other. Benson can't even do a trust fall with them, and it creates a lot of really good scenes.
All right, fine. I can't do it. I don't trust them to catch me.
Benson eventually loses his eyesight because he gets stung by bees.
It's kind of funny that you took off your blindfold but weren't supposed to and then got blindfolded again anyways. By nature.
They fall off a cliff after just messing around with an ancient animal burial ground, and Mordecai breaks his arms, so it's up to them to tie themselves together to figure out a way out of this forest, which leads to them bonding, learning to trust, learning how to do a triple backflip off of a tree in order to dodge a bear.
Flip! Front flip or back flip?
Run! Spin right! Run! Now run forward and backflip!
What? Forward and a backflip?
Yes, trust me!
Yeah, it's really crazy, and it's really good, and it's just developing Mordecai and Rigby and Benson to have a better friendship, and I just love that. Because if you told me in season 1 that all the way in a few seasons later that Benson, Mordecai, and Rigby would be tying themselves together in order to get out of a forest, I would maybe believe you, but it's still hard to hear because this is genuinely such a drastic change from where they initially were. But it's just so welcome to watch a character grow, especially in a kid's show where the majority of the time a lot of characters might just remain stagnant the entire time. But in regular show, all of the characters are growing, evolving, and becoming better people, and in this case, becoming better friends. So you've developed his personality, you've given him hobbies, you've given him interests, you've developed all of his friendships with everybody at the park. What is there left to do for Benson's character? Well, the direction that they took is by far one of my favorite choices, making everybody appreciate Benson for being a good boss. I like that the writers just realized how good of a boss that Benson had been throughout the entire series, intentional or not, and just started making a bunch of episodes that just prove how great of a boss he is. Starting off with the episode World's Best Boss, with everybody coming together just to get him a World's Best Boss mug.
Dude, I don't see it.
Me either.
Keep looking, we'll find it.
Hey, Rigby.
And things go a little bit awry when they order one online. Pops is all like, "Oh, Benson is going to be so surprised," and he goes to open the box, and that's when he gets socked in the face.
Light it went.
Boss! Pops, are you okay?
The world's best boss comes out of it, and he starts sending everybody to attack everybody at the park, and they're all just getting their ass kicked, like genuinely destroyed by the world's best boss and all of his lackeys. And then they just decide to take this in the best possible direction, which the only way that they're able to defeat all these people is when Benson shows up, shows them all how to properly fight, and that is by working together, and it just creates so many good moments. You have Benson probably ordering Muscle Man to do this, where Muscle Man just flies in a single frame and just nails this guy into a wall. He is just helping everybody escape in these battles that they are losing, and eventually socks the world's best boss in the face, sending him into a car, sending him to his death, and proving that he is the world's best boss.
The world's best boss.
It's episodes just like this that make Benson genuinely seem like a good boss, a good person, willing to help out all of his employees, and when he gets that in return, vice versa, all of his employees doing something so nice for him, it just makes for such a great episode that appreciates Benson so well. And then there's also episodes like Lunch Club, which just expands his personality even more, makes him look like an even better boss, and genuinely creates a deeper connection between him and Rigby. When Rigby messes up everything by destroying a $1 million sheet cake, he gets locked in a room with Benson, and we get to learn even more about Benson's character, even all the way in season 7, where he's just making microwave wings. Yeah, it's just really good stuff like that.
Microwave wings, microwave wings. This is Benson's recipe for microwave wings. Dash of pepper, blast of curry. Mixing them slow, whoa, not gonna hurry. What are you singing? Microwave wings.
That just showcases again a brand new side of Benson, a even different side compared to everything we had seen in the past 6 seasons. And eventually they go up there, they're having a great time, they're dancing, and then they have this moment together where they're just talking about their anxieties and their fears, and you get to see Benson once again in a brand new light.
Benson, what are you anxious about? Oh, awkward silences, airplane toilets, silverfish. Do I have any library books out? What if they stop making that gum I like? This recurring nightmare where I'm flailing in a futureless void. My father's there. He's laughing at me.
They were still creating and crafting his character even 7 seasons in, and just following that up with the Parky Awards just adds even more layers to it, because it's again another Benson appreciation episode where Benson is really sad that he didn't win Park Manager of the Year, so they kidnap Gene's award and just take him out to have one of the best nights of his life. It's great, it's incredible, and eventually they go back to the facility so that Benson can give his own speech, and because of a bunch of other park manager ghosts he doesn't really get to, and Gene comes back and takes his award away, but they all make him a paper mache award that looks just like the real one, and Benson gives to give his speech at the end.
This is really the best award I could win. I'd like to thank all of you guys, not just for being the best staff I've worked with, but also being the best friends I could ask for. Because of you, every day I come into work, I feel like a true winner. Thank you.
It's wholesome, it's great, and it just showcases how far Benson has come, how far all of his employees have come, and how close they have all grew together in this crazy, chaotic world where there's so much just random stuff going on, but there's still time to build the character into a brand new version of himself, and everybody can acknowledge and appreciate that. And that's why I like the writing of regular shows so much, because in a lot of kid shows, other than maybe like Adventure Time, a lot of the time, the majority of the stories, they just say stagnant, unless it is genuinely a continuous story. It's like they're building up to something, and that's the point of it. But in a show like Regular Show, where it's mostly episodic, but you still find this way to develop your characters and just bleed them into the next episodes when it's not one continuous big story, it's just always so good to watch a character go from just being absolutely horrible in one episode. Like if you turned on an episode in season 1 and then you turned on season 7 and were watching the Parky Awards, you would genuinely wonder, how could this possibly happen? And that's why I like it so much. I love that all of the characters grew, all of the characters developed into something more. If you've ever hated Benson, then you probably understand why he was so misunderstood. But one of my favorite things about this, it just feels so universal that the majority of the fan base, as they grew up, there wasn't a sliver of hate for Benson. It seemed like nobody disliked Benson. There's millions of videos on YouTube explaining why people love Benson, and this is basically my version of that, because Benson was just that good. He was a mentor, he was a friend, and he truly was the world's best boss. Holy